What does it take to build a horror game? The best ones are more than just their jump scares, challenging us with twisted stories, expertly crafted mechanics, and iconic villains that haunt us long after their time on our screens. In this podcast, we meet the developers behind the horror games who mastermind our fear. From beloved classics to hotly anticipated titles, we dive into the inspiration behind horror game making, what frightens those who frighten us, and how developers transform nightmares into reality. Welcome to Talking Terror, the official podcast of the Horror Game Awards. Hello everyone and welcome to Talking Terror, the official podcast of the Horror Game Awards. My name is Ash and I am joined by Linus and Mattias from Wych Elm to talk about Silver Pines. Hello guys, give us a little intro, tell us about yourselves and what you do at the studio.
Hello, so we're Wych Elm. I'm Mattias, started the studio together with Linus here, and I mainly do art-related things. But we are a small studio, so everybody does a little bit of everything. Linus and I worked together before. We made Yoko's Island Express. We worked together on Helldivers 2 a little bit, and been working in the industry I've been working many years, lots and lots of years. That's pretty much me.
Perfect.
Yeah, and me actually. So that's
Oh, there we go then.
there we got
Easy.
it done. No, I'm doing game design and I'm doing all the world content pretty much, like everything that isn't the art, and then a lot of art too.
Also art, I would say.
Yeah.
There are plenty of Linus made art pieces in this game. We're gonna stay that way, I think.
Yeah. Okay, well that sounds exciting. Mattias, I love the dolphin in your background because spoiler alert for anybody watching this, we have done this podcast once already and had a technical issue and are doing it again. And I only discovered the dolphin at the end of the podcast, so I'm actually really glad we get to do it again, so I get to look at it the whole time. Did you draw it? Did you paint it?
No. This was my kids' room before. For real, this is not. I didn't pick it. I promise. It's really nice. I do like it. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, they're like, I only paint cool horror stuff, not dolphins, man.
Which is not true. I do paint a lot of fluffy things as well, but not as often.
Right, so this podcast will be airing after Midsummer Night's Scream showcase as well, that premiered on the 1st of June, and people are going to know that the demo is out for your game as well, which is super exciting. So how would you describe Silver Pines to those who haven't heard of it before? What's the setup? What are we working with as this spooky little title? We've had a little look at the trailer, hopefully, and then if people are coming to this podcast and saying, what's that all about? How would you set it up?
Should I go? The premise of this thing is that you play as Detective Red Walker, and the game kicks you off without you knowing much of anything, really. You're thrown in blind, and you wake up in an abandoned diner in a small town, and you try to work out the pieces of what's happened and why you're there. And you sort of trickle information throughout this the first couple of hours about who you are, that you were there looking for this musician called Eddie Velvet that gets revealed quite early. And you have this mysterious man on the phone who wants you to do certain things. And all of these things sort of raises a ton of questions about your purpose in this world and what's going to happen next. But we sort of leave it there and let the players find the answers themselves.
Okay.
That's the general approach to it.
Ooh. What does that mean? Do you mean like when you find the answers yourselves, do you mean it's open to interpretation, or do you mean there's like documents and things to find within the game that kind of spells it out for you?
There's plenty of both, I would say, and I would go as far as say not only the storytelling, but the way the game plays is largely non-linear. Once you get past the sort of opener that sets you on the path, the game gradually opens up more and more, and leaving it into your hands how you sort of start exploring the game and how you start interpreting and uncovering story.
Yeah.
I think another thing that has been really good for us, I think, is that we're kind of we're not so afraid to let the players take the driver's seat of how much they want to engage in things. There are like the game can be played on many different levels. Like there is obviously the gameplay stuff. You have certain objectives that you will find, or you will understand that you can probably interact and do something over here. but then what you take away from it, we don't prescribe much there. That is kind of up to you.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. So like you'll be like, what's this old boot? And then think, oh, maybe it's from here. That's my my interpretation of that.
The general idea.
Hope to see the old boot. Oh. What can we expect to play from this slice of gameplay for the demo as well? What is kind of your ideal that you're hoping to portray with what Silver Pines is when people are actually getting their hands on it for the first time as well? Because I've been really excited to see this and be able to jump in there. So yeah, what is it that you're hoping to convey with our little slice of demo? Is it just the start of the game, or is it a little vertical slice from elsewhere?
No, it's the start of the game, and
Nice.
really like one of the earliest sort of concept things that we were throwing around with this game was like a horror game for people who normally maybe don't want to play horror games. So something we are doing with this is that it's a slow burn. It's a focus on tension rather than like in your face horror first.
Yeah.
And I think that'll really come across in the demo. That's why we just decided like we're just gonna let you start at the start and take your time with it. Like get a cup of coffee, sit down, and have a go.
Yeah, I love that kind of go. Just build the tension, set the vibe, set the tone. Sorry, as you were describing that, my cat just walked like right in front of the camera. She's giving the BBC interview experience. But yeah, I love the sound of that. That kind of introducing people. A horror game, not for horror fans as well, or maybe not horror fans, but people who feel a little trepidatious about playing a horror game. How do you approach that kind of vibe as well? Then, how does it feel to try and make something that might not be outright frightening and can invite those people in, or do you feel like it's a bit of a ploy to be like, come on in and then we're going to scare you senseless?
No, I think it's sort of, we have a kind of a breadth of, and it's also about the emphasis. We have a lot of exploration, we have puzzle solving, we have a bunch of characters that you get to meet and talk to and try to understand what they're up to. So it has a lot of different legs to stand on. And then there's something about just the format that we present in. We have this sort of side view mixed with this more of an open layout where you can actually go in depth. So try to manage that as well, to navigate through the map and things like that. And it's not, it's about the sort of finding a good mix, and it's not sort of oversteering towards the combat or anything like that, but that actually it's got a variedness to it.
Yeah,
I think that's what makes it. It's got that. I think it's going to have a wider appeal from that.
Yeah, and so something that we try to do as well is like steering away from this sort of unrelenting horror of like of these more modern like closet hiding horror games. I'm not bashing on those. It's just like it's not just explaining here, but instead going for this sort of like this feeling that something is about to happen, something is about to go wrong, and that feeling is slowly, sort of very slowly going up, and then there's a release, and that is a very stress-packed sort of encounter where sort of like the violence is dialed up very high, and the audio of the guns is high, and like it's big and visceral, and it's over quickly, and then you're back again into that sort of tension.
Yeah. So you would say it's kind of jump scare free, maybe, because it's all about building the dread and having those cathartic moments, or do you sneak in a couple of drops as well?
There's a can that falls over at one point that keeps scaring me when I'm playtesting, which is stupid.
That's a perfect example of like how to build dread, though, in it. Like if it's random can falling off and you're like, oh my god, you're obviously doing something right if it gets you every time as well. Is it?
Yeah, sometimes less is more, and it's about the suggestion of something that's going to happen. That's the really good sort of tension, rather than flat strobing images and sort of teeth in your face. That's also good. I mean, I like that too, and we do probably a little bit of that. But I think we're more interested in the sort of the ramp up and the how far can we take it in the tension department.
Yeah, which makes sense for the sort of thing you're doing as like a detective, or like an investigation sort of vibe. Well, what's happened to this person? Where's it going? You have to ask all the questions before you can kind of throw all of the spooky stuff at someone, which I think is a great way of doing it. And yeah, I'm just really excited to play it. I think it's going to be super duper. I don't know. The tone of everything we've seen from the trailers, and like the style, how influential the artwork is on it. Yeah, I think you guys have something really special with it, which will be really fun. Before we move into art and story, though, I kind of wanted to ask about you guys as Wych Elm, as a studio as well, as this is technically like a fresh studio for you guys, even though I know you've worked together previously on other titles and obviously released Yoku's Island Express as well, with your other one, I keep going to say Vanilla Gorilla, Villa Gorilla.
That's also
There
a
we go.
good name, by the way. That's
Vanilla Gorilla is a different studio. But what's it been like setting up a fresh name for this one?
It's a new constellation of peoples. We have 3 other guys on it as well, so it made sense to have a clean slate there. Yeah, so we're gonna have a fresh start, new name, new game, see where it could take us, sort of.
Yeah, coming out
Nice.
of like AAA development as well, like we went into this with the desire to do like a flat hierarchy thing, and it's working really nicely, honestly. Like you're getting a lot of good creative input out of everyone. It's like when you're in this space where no one touching the game is doing a 9 to 5, like yeah, that just
Yeah. And yeah,
squeezes out a lot of good stuff.
it's super good, and I mean, obviously we all have our different disciplines, and but there are no sort of red lines or anything around. So I own completely control this. We try to, if there is a problem, we can rely on each other, and also we sort of sharpen the concept and the ideas together.
Yeah.
This is sort of the engine that creates the game, and it wouldn't be the same if it wasn't for any one of us, really, because everybody has shaped it. And so
Yeah, it's like a real meeting of like creative minds and influences and all that kind of thing as well, which is really fun. This is a Metroidvania as well. So obviously you mentioned Yoku's Island Express as well, which is like a super cute, fun, like more happy, adventurous game. But it is also Metroidvania. So do you feel like this is the spiritual successor? Do you feel like this is the sequel carrying on from Yoku's Island Express into Silver Pines, the dread-filled horror game?
We're definitely taking a lot of the things that we liked from the exploration in Yoku's and bringing that into Silver Pines as well. The games are very, very different in pretty much every other regard than navigation. But both of the games really focused in on this sort of believable space ideology where everything sits together. There are no sort of gaps where you suddenly just teleport from one place to another. Like everything is connected, and everywhere you are, you can sort of see other content and go whatever you can see, you can go there. And then, of course, this once everything is in place, we just try to get the content really dense. Just pack every sort of screen with something that you can find or do or remember or yeah.
Yeah, excellent. Love that. Yeah, little Metroidvania feels like, I don't know, I just love it as something like with the non-linear narrative that you guys are talking about as well, like being able to go back, like find something, come back or assess it again, or go somewhere else, or have a different experience to somebody else playing the game and then tie it all together. I know that feels like it works obviously very well with adventure games, but I do think there's a lot of horror in that as well, as in like never being sure what's going on or what's going to come next, or the unpredictability of it as well. Feels like a great setting for something to be spooky in. Yeah. What inspired Silver Pines to happen like here and now and with Wych Elm? Because obviously you've named your new studio for this title, or had this title come under this new name. Where did the story for Silver Pines come from, and why now? Why the studio?
Yeah. So it started a couple of years ago, back when I think, Mattias, you were still at Ubisoft and I was at Arrowhead working on Helldivers 2. And we had this conversation where we said we got to do another game, and I told Mattias like I got to do a game where I want to blast someone's head off with a shotgun. we gotta do that. We gotta get some real gritty violence going. And then we sort of started talking back and forth about this. Excuse me, I just gotta 1 second.
Let me fill in there. So, a lot of it is that we have a lot of shared love for certain styles, if you call it that, or like certain TV shows, certain pieces of media that kind of resonate, that has a particular vibe. And there are sort of these different pockets of vibes, and we're interested in many different things. But here we found like, okay, so here's this sort of general sense, general atmosphere that at that time was very untapped or had been sort of forgotten. And we've seen some resurgence in that space since, but so we thought, okay, so this is a perfect space for us. What can we do in that space? One thing is we got to have shotguns to blast people's heads off. Okay, so we know that.
Yeah.
What else is there? Okay, and then we start exploring that space. Okay, how much of adventure is it? How much exploration can we put in? What does that say about the need for like the setting? What does that start to shape into? So we kind of try all these ideas, and then out of that, on kind of far back, it really comes, okay, so what type of story does that start to tell us? What can take place in this world? And then we go with that, and then back to the world and look at, okay, so what do we tweak in the world? So it's a lot of back and forth between thinking about these different aspects. But I think the foundational thing very much was the general atmosphere and vibe of the thing, and then try to grow it from that. So it's very world-oriented, sort of world-first perspective on making it something.
Yeah.
So we're both going, yeah. I love how it came from literally going, we want to blast someone's head off with a shotgun. Was that like the kernel of it from Helldivers? You were like, hey, I love this stuff.
No, I don't think it came from Helldivers. I think it came from when we did Yokus together. We really enjoyed working together, but it was such a nice. I'm using nice here as the descriptor, but it was such a nice game, and that required taking a lot of what we like and not doing that for that project, which blowing people's head with shotguns is.
That's really us. That's our vibe. Yeah. Oh, and I would be
there
remiss.
are different aspects of it. Like it's like you can have sort of a love and fascination for like grindhousey type of splattery things, but then also like a little more highbrow, more intellectual, sort of more cerebral experiences. And there is certainly ways to overlap those, and that's kind of what we're trying to do.
Yeah. So have it feel high. Well, there's that like I hate the phrase, but elevated horror vibe of like, because all horror can be elevated in different ways. You know, I feel like the A24 train came along, and people think that like now it's okay to be cerebral with horror, but it's always been there. And then crossing over those different things with B-movie vibes as well is always delicious. It always works.
Oh yeah, like whenever I research anything I'm working on, and I try to sort of just engross myself as much as I possibly can in that sort of world. So like for this game, it's been just devouring like movies, like any type of horror and detective thriller and like mystery stuff, and just as much as possible. And honestly, these movies have always this genre has always been like had a cerebral side to it as well, I think.
Yeah. I feel like True Detective feels like the kind of pinnacle of that kind of weird, and like Hannibal, those sort of things where it's like that weird, super cerebral, spooky horror vibe, but it's like, okay, but we're doing detective work. Do you have any other recommendations from around there as well? I feel like there's going to be loads of stuff.
Like Kiyoshi Kurosawa movies, pretty much like his entire library is just packed, but like Pulse is a fantastic one.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously David Lynch stuff, great. Lost Highway, fantastic. And we're also massive fans, the entire team, I think, of John Carpenter's stuff. Like The Thing. Yeah,
definitely. I think I look forward to seeing all of that maybe come together in this then. Would you feel like those influences have shaped Silver Pines into what it is, or does it feel like something a lot more fresh and outside of that as well?
it still has, you can sort of trace it back to a lot of different things. I mean, when it's been worked on, we worked on it for so long now, and everything's gone through the sort of the scrutiny of, okay, so how does it fit with the core thing that we're trying to do here, and lots of iterations and things. But I think you'll still be able to trace it back to other influences. Hopefully it will feel like a new presentation, a new thing that we're doing here. But we don't mind if if you can sort of see an echo of something else in there.
Yeah, well, all the best things are made up of everything else that's cool, right? And I would say that about myself. It's like I'm just a thing of I've seen a cool woman and been like, right, I'm gonna dye my hair pink now. It's the same with games, and it's like, right, well, I'm gonna take that and put that in my game. Like the vibe of it. All the best stuff is born from appreciation of other cool things. So I think that's absolutely part of it. It's been like being able to discover those moments and those references and going, that's cool, I like that. And I know where these guys have been thinking of, how they've developed it as well. It kind of like is a language with your audience, I guess, as well.
And I think it's also just like you have this massive library of all these experiences and things you've seen and everything, and when you come into, at least for me, when you come into starting to create this, it's not going back to a specific work as a reference point as much as it is sort of the memory, your sort of soul memory of the experience you had when you took it in.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's great. You should make a game about that.
Right?
No,
I agree with that. And it's like,
cool.
especially the really good ones, I think, are the ones where you kind of remember it wrong as well. So it's something happened, you haven't looked at it for 20 years, and then it's like, oh.
Yeah.
You try to recreate that, but now it turns into something different, of course. And then you're not rewarded to the original thing, but it's still sort of fueled by some vague memory of something.
Yeah. No, I definitely think that like leans into that kind of dreamscape horror stuff. Obviously, like not be having the full picture on something and then remembering what frightened you, but not why. And I think that's a really good way of putting it. It's about the memory of the thing that you ingested rather than specifically harking back to it. I think that's how you know it's like a good way of doing it as well, isn't it? It's like it's your take on something rather than how can I incorporate this in because it's from somewhere else. I would be remiss not to ask also, is there any correlation between all the tree names? Like Wych Elm, Silver Pines? Do we just love trees? Is it a match up there?
We do love trees. I do love trees. I think they're mysterious and cool.
Yeah.
And they get really old.
Yeah.
Live for thousands of years, some of them. It's great.
Yeah. Does that tie into the game or is that just some tree love?
There are a lot of weird trees in the game as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think they work themselves into us more than anything else.
It's not been a spoken sort of agreement or any intention. It's just like they're an evergreen.
Ooh, you pair giggling at evergreen is making me feel nervous. I'm like, what does that mean? What does it mean for the trees? But yeah, right. Interesting. Looking forward to seeing how that plays out as well. As a Swedish studio as well, what's the draw to like this kind of America as your setting, where you've got kind of this different vibe, this interpretation of like a Hollywood setting? Do you think that kind of ties into what you were saying about the interpretation and the presentation of that?
Definitely. We really wanted to go with like this sort of cinematic setting that sort of is big in the communal sort of consciousness, where you can see the first sort of image of where the game starts. You immediately know what kind of place this is going to be.
Yeah.
And then that's sort of warping going from there. But then at least everyone starts in that same sort of familiar place. We got the entire audience sort of gathered there, and
and then it's about the execution of it and like how you can sort of creatively misrepresent or be very accurate about it, or what kind of flavor you put on it, or then it goes through that process of how to actually render the thing. That's where it make it your own. And I think that's where like a lot of interesting things can happen. Of us not being from that region, but rather making some sort of not a copy of it, but a representation of it at least. Hopefully, we inject something new in there.
Yeah, I think a fun sort of parallel is how in the first Silent Hill entry, you sort of you got these Japanese guys building a small town, small American town, and there's something that's just a little bit uncanny about it, because they got like the sort of layout of the town and with walls and stuff in places where that's common in streets in around Tokyo, but that's like I've never seen that in in the West, and it creates this cool dissonance. I hope that we get some of that too.
Yeah, you might just have nailed it. Like you'll have like a perfectly encapsulated like a Hollywood America kind of vibe, and be like, everything's picture perfect now. But no, I'm sure there's lots of different flavors in there too. But what do you think? How would you describe like what you associate with this small town America vibe, and like what you've created from how you've made that up as well? Like what is the thing you're trying to portray with this setting, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I think there's something, it lends itself very natural to this sense of being exposed. It's sort of a frontier, isolated settings. There's this big, vast wilderness that's untamed and right at your doorstep, and you're kind of left to your own devices there. And you have small community, and if something goes wrong, you know, if that doesn't work, what happens if something's very off about that, and you're still stuck in this isolated, very vulnerable place. And I don't know, there's something about that, those tree-covered mountains as well, where this has a deep resonance, I think.
Yeah, well,
psychological level.
I think it's also one of those places that's like universal to everyone. Everybody's seen like a forest or knows like a forest near them, and there's always stories and folklore and kind of vibes about them as well, which makes loads of sense to have like a big wooded zone, because Appalachia and everything in Appalachia, I can't say that right, in America also like has so much in the way of folklore in it, like just that you soak up from watching TV and films, that kind of thing. So I think gives it that eerie vibe straight away as well. Sorry, I'm just commenting, podcasting myself here.
Go on.
Tell us more about our game. So classic survival horror is at the heart of Silver Pines as well. But what were your guys' favorite games to play? How did you pull those into bringing that classic survival horror vibe into this too?
I'm a big Resident Evil fan when it comes to survival horror.
Yeah.
They are pretty great, I think. Out of the new ones, I think Signalis has been a big influence. And we looked at a lot together as well.
Signalis has been really good in showing like how far you can take it while still be not being like too weird. Like that game goes pretty damn weird, and that's been honestly been really helpful, seeing how successful that game has been, because you're always questioning like, is this just for me? Or is no one gonna play this if we go this sort of far with this thing? But it was really helpful in that sense.
Yeah. No, I think the weirder the better half the time though. I think capturing people's attention is like half the battle with video games, because it's like, okay, is this going to terrify me or is this going to challenge me? Like, what way is this going to send like something into my brain that I'm interested in? So I think weird is definitely wonderful as the.
It's so hard to try to second guess or like have a phantom audience in mind as well, where like maybe people will like this, and you try to approach it from sort of I don't know, if you have a focus group or something in that doesn't work. You gotta like it. You
gotta go with your gut, with what you like yourself.
Yes, definitely.
I hope that you're not too far out in some spectrum of whatever.
All right,
over here. So
you go with your gut, and you're like, wait a second, that's a bit much. Has working with Team 17 as a publisher helped with that as well? Because they're always putting out cool, interesting, sometimes like a bit weirder or out there stuff as well, especially when it comes to their horror titles or horror leaning titles. Or is it very much you kind of present them with your vision and then it gets put out that way?
We came with a pretty fully formed vision for what the game was. It's changed since then, but it's still very much driven and owned by us as a studio. They've been very supportive, I think, from that perspective, where they provide a framework for us to work in. Then we have a producer, and we have a weekly calls, and we have some deliveries, and we have a schedule, and it's an official job now. But it kind of keeps us from flaking out completely. But but also it's like it afforded us a lot of. We don't feel constrained by that relationship in any way when it comes to the creative stuff at all. I think it's just helpful. It kind of forces us to think and execute on certain ideas and put them to the test. And it forces decisions sometimes that can be very healthy when you've been working on something for a very long time. And they kind of trust us, I think, at least officially, at least face to face. They seem to trust us. Maybe I have to ask.
Yeah, well, okay.
Yeah.
It works. No, it seems like a nice relationship. Seems like a good matchup for you guys as well. Like with the vibe
I mean,
of this.
they recently dropped Conscript as well, which was a fantastic survival horror. Spoke with the Jordan who made that recently. He's a really cool guy.
Mm.
And no, as Mattias said, they just it's great having a production company that goes along with your dumb and weird ideas.
I like dumb as the first one there. Not even weird. It's like just dumb. They're just dumb. I've written a question here that it's totally off on a tangent now, but it just says, "Is resource management the realest horror of all?" I think that was back for classic survival horror as well. Is there resource management going on in Silver Pines? Is it the realest horror of all?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I think we are a little more lenient than if you compare with your Resident Evil classic, like 6 or 8 item slots. But inventory management is a big part. You gotta pick what you're bringing, especially when it comes to bringing the bigger arsenals. You're gonna be struggling if you're gonna try to bring several big guns with you at once. And honestly, like the more you sort of space you leave yourself with whenever you leave an item box to head out, the better time you're gonna have, but also the less prepared you're gonna be. So it's that constant balance.
Yeah. Ooh. So there's lots of stuff to find whilst you're out there then, if you're saying that it's better to leave a bit of room.
Oh yeah.
Excellent.
Resource management is a big thing.
It goes directly to.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh my god, there's so much. I need to resource manage you two.
Oh yeah, it got me going. Resource management. Oh, love it. I was just gonna say, if you it's funny how that about tension, and we talked about tension before. Like you remove one slot from your inventory, and that increases the tension of the overall experience. That's kind of funny how those things play together in a game like this, where now you're forced to make these decisions, and making decisions is always hard. That creates a certain kind of tension, and that's also gonna maybe expose you to greater dangers. If you make a good call, am I making the best call? You're always sort of in that space where you have to make a decision about that.
Yeah, and you're always regretting the decision you made. It's like, oh man, I should have brought the shotgun, and here I am with a fucking crowbar trying to go through this awful area. I think it's like one of the things with resource management is like, oh sure, some people enjoy the Tetris of fixing your inventory, and we got the sort of Diablo style inventory where you're actually allowed to Tetris your stuff, and that's all good. But for a lot of people, they'll go like, oh, inventory management and the constraints of inventory management isn't what I think is fun. But it's also like, it's not there to be fun in isolation. It is there to create friction and tension, where you're forced to make hard decisions and live with them. And that, I think that's like very core to making a horror game. You gotta cripple the player in different ways for it to have tension. Otherwise, you're getting an arcade action game.
Yeah. No, I think that's very true. I think half the fun is being able to go into a place with a crowbar and manage to survive, though, as well, like seeing if you can do it. So I think like having the option of being underprepared and as prepared as you can be. Sometimes you give yourself that replayability as well, just from the virtue of not being able to take everything at once. Would you say there's lots of replayability in Silver Pines?
We are still looking at what the exact new game plus or equivalent is going to be. That's like still not determined. However, we've opted into leaning into a metroidvania sort of approach, where this is a sort of get everything sort of style game. So there's a ton of stuff that is optional to do. So you can do a playthrough in roughly like half the game time by just not doing all the optional stuff. But that's not how you play these games.
Yeah. You got to challenge people to go and see all the bits and make fun surprises for them, I guess, as well.
Yeah, same as you would get, in a Metroidvania game, or when if you play like Dark Souls, Souls games, like you can just do the main quest. But that's not how you play it. Like yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I kind of want to move us on to the art style now as well. Could you tell us a little bit about the choice of the art style and how that's come together?
Yeah, the game is kind of it's a little bit special in how it treats animation. It's hand-drawn animation that uses rotoscoping for a lot of it. So it's a ton of frames of different things that I had to draw.
What is rotoscoping, Mattias?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
thank you, Linus.
that rotoscoping is when you take live action footage and then you create characters based on the movement on screen of the recorded footage. And I'm not like an animator by trade. That was kind of an early thing that we decided on. Okay, let's try this approach, because it felt like, okay, everybody can get started on this. How hard can it be? So it was very, very quick to get started on, and a known process of how to do things. It turns out it's a lot of work. Who would have thought? So yeah, there's that, and then on top of that, there's a combination of techniques to create some different things. Like we have a lot of non-human creatures and things like that. So how do you do that? Some of it becomes about dressing up and trying to create a costume, and then drawing on top of that, masking the fact that it's you wrapped in bedcloth and whatnot. And some of it is using just motion, just using a plain motion reference and coming up with things on top of that, just to make sure that everything has. Because the nice thing that you get for free from an approach like this is that everything tends to feel very grounded, and the speeds are all realistic and things like that, and which it's very hard to pin down unless you have something very real as the foundation. So we get a lot of that for free. We get all of the sort of interesting cloth flapping and things like that. That's all for free. Like no special simulation needed. It's just having good reference for it. So yeah.
It's also a lot of fun. Like the entire team is represented as different characters in the game. Since we all need to pitch in and model, and then some friends of ours as well. And there's some hilarious behind the scenes footage of like Mattias walking around on his knees with toilet paper hanging from his entire body to sort of throwing himself on the ground.
Yeah. Oh, there's so much cringy moments, especially early on when I was just trying this. Now I don't have any shame anymore. I kind of, there's no, I don't care. But when I was just starting, it was really awkward, and I was doing outside recording, and I was doing crouch movement, and that doesn't really look natural. Like nobody walks around crouch, but you do in a game because you want to be able to move. And the mailman walks by, and I can capture the moment. I have it captured, this sort of complete surrender of dignity, where I'm like crouch walking in front of my building, and the mailman just walks by, pretends not to see me at all.
Man, maybe he didn't see you. It was true sneak mode. That was what it was. The crouching really worked.
I didn't see me.
Yeah, the stealth indicator was lit.
Little eyeball. Man, I love that as a little behind the scenes insight, because I know you guys have put all sorts of weird and wonderful dressing up moments in there, like the toilet paper, the crawling around, all of these things. Have you had any interesting cameos from other people? Like I know you said you've got your friends and stuff in. You got any family members in there as well?
Your wife
still a few that I have to get done for the fun. There will be some more like that. But we try to get. I mean, it's like with everything else. We make use of what we have around us when we make this, and that's what shapes it. So it's. I'm overrepresented, obviously, because I have myself around the house all the day, so I can just record and put things in, and it goes from being a monster to being a 65-year-old, very large man, to being a young man. Making myself look older was way easier than making myself look young, which felt bad to realize. But yeah, that's where we are.
Felt bad.
And that's been the approach for everything, that we use us and the things that we have around us to make the game.
Yeah. What's the most unique thing that you think you've kind of used as part of your setup for this rotoscoping then? Is it the toilet paper guy, or is it open to finding once we're in the game as well, not to spoil all of your fun?
An unexpected thing was to use one of my kids' plush toys.
Yes.
For soft body deformations. We have these monsters, and when you smack them around, they fly and bounce. But it turns out that the teddy bear is also very good at capturing that sort of movement. And then we get the realness of it. But then I could use that to sort of superimpose various shapes on top of it. It's a unique creature.
Yeah, get a proper squish on it. Oh, do your children see you doing all this as well, or do you have to hide like the throwing plush toys around? Because I feel like it'd be quite horrifying if I walked in and saw my dad like beating up one of my stuffed toys. I'd be like, "What are you doing?"
I haven't shown them the footage yet of me stomping on one of the teddy bears, but the other day I was just recording kind of a complicated two-person scene, so I had to play both characters. But anyway, and one of the characters dies. And then as I'm recording, you can see it on the footage, like my son walks in and just looks so troubled when he sees what Dad is doing. And it's like, "Did you die, Dad?" And then, because I had to follow Dad. But I think they're getting used to it.
Oh, well, actually, speaking of children as well, Linus, you've just had a new baby. Congrats! And you were talking about Wych Elm being like the baby haven at the moment. Everybody's popping out sprogs, aren't they? Like they're having a new game, birthing a new game, and birthing loads of children as well.
Yeah, I had one kid at the beginning of this production come out, and then Kalle also did. Kalle's doing environment art. Then Carl, who's doing our audio, has had a kid last month.
Yeah.
Then I had another kid last week, and now I think 2 weeks from now, Kalle doing the environment art is having another kid. So it'll be from a 5-person team. There will have been 5 babies born.
Oh my
something
goodness!
Like that during.
You've doubled, you've cloned in that time. Next generation of Wych Elm come into the fore.
And fill ranks.
Yeah. Do you get the kids involved in any of the dressing up and making strange monsters and stuff, or is it a bit too spooky?
No, my kids aren't getting involved in anything, but they are frequently requesting to play the game where you play the man. There's a debug option to turn off the monsters, so they just think they're running around a town. They enjoy buying stuff from the vending machines and using the phone booths to make phone calls.
Oh man, that's so fun. So they do get to play it, but without any of the
they're like, "Why is it always bad weather in this town?"
Why have you made this game?
No, my kids are not in it either. I don't think there's an ethical question there somewhere. I don't know how to tackle it, but we don't have any kid parts. Turn them into a monster maybe, but then that's just drawing them the way they are.
Yeah, to be fair, I was thinking more like because you could make like a little beast or something. But I feel it would if they already are little monsters, then it isn't a new thing. How do monsters fit into the world of Silver Pines? Are they real? Are they nightmares? Are they things to figure out? Is there a representation there, or is that very much like play the game, Ash?
I think it is play the game, Ash.
Okay.
And you can play it right now. So
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Demo's out right now. Great
yeah.
plug. Thank you. Yeah, the demo is out right now, everybody. So if you haven't hopped on it yet, time to hop on it now. I've just got a few general questions to kind of cap off our Silver Pines chat about you guys and kind of your history with game development as well. But if there's anything you want to say about the game or anything you want to tout about, like what are you most excited for people to experience? Maybe let's cap off our Silver Pines bit there.
Well, I'm excited for people to experience the whole thing. It's a combination of bits for me. I think it's all of the decisions that we made around the art and presentation. That's like, I really hope that it's going to land well, that people can appreciate like the thing, and hopefully it kind of has its own flavor and it's perceived that way. But then marrying that with sort of the kind of type of narrative that we have and the type of gameplay and how all these sort of three things hopefully harmonized throughout the whole thing, and feels rewarding. And then, yeah, I don't think I have the one thing that comes to mind. It's more about that. Okay, so this package, what does that do? Is it doing what we think it's doing, or we just
really looking forward to seeing it in the hands of people. Like we just recently got like all the voice acting done with the super talented voice actors, and just the quality. You play your own game for so long, you get fucking sick of seeing it, and then suddenly there's something big and new that just raises the quality so much, and you go like, oh my god, it's gonna be great. And I hope that's everyone's gonna feel that as well.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah, because it's still scaring you with the can, and you're finding new things to love about it with the bits that you add in. Like, I think that's a great take on being able to share it with people as well. It's like, this is cool. Everything we put in it is cool. I'm excited about the whole thing. Like, play it.
Yeah,
which is very fair.
We had some really fun comments. Like overall, like the just the reception in general for this game is people are very nice when talking about this. Like I think one of the harshest comments that I really loved was someone called it Resident Evil from Temu, which
Oh my God.
which I thought was just fantastic. So looking forward to see that as well. What kind of nice hate we get as well.
That could be the tagline for the game now. That's going on the box. Resident Evil from Temu. You can put it on with the back.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like if they're already comparing it to like a Resident Evil moment, though, you're already winning, aren't you? Really? Oh, right. What I wanted to ask about you guys is kind of what drew you to game development and what made you gamers, or this is a medium for telling stories in, because obviously we've got like world design and art, like, and all the different things that come together to create an experience. What made it games?
You just answered it. It's it is that sort of for me, anyways. That sort of combination of it's the best medium to sort of experience stuff in my mind. The fact that you're the driver, you're picking what parts to engage with, and just like how the medium allows you to not just live the story of the narrator, but instead make your own.
Yeah, definitely. Would you say the same as well, Mattias?
Yeah, no, that's what's keeping me there for sure. And to have all of these very different kinds of creative tasks that you got to deal with, from a narrative point of view, art, a lot of technical things, and being able to hopefully contribute in lots of different fields and work together in lots of different fields. That's really. And then I think it's also fueled by some like early game memories where you kind of have a receipt, for a fact that it can have a very strong impact because it had on me as a kid growing up. It's back in the 90s, like games were cruder back then, of course, but you could sort of get a sense of what they could achieve, and to be able to hopefully make something of that magnitude yourself. It's really, really inspiring, I think.
Yeah, for sure. What were the games that kind of like kicked off your love of gaming and horror as well? Like what drew you to kind of this particular subgenre in gaming as well?
For me, like this one early game that I really enjoyed was Another World. That was for the Amiga, and that's also very reminiscent to some of the technical things that are going on here with the rotoscope animation. Uses the same technique. for horror games, I think Silent Hill 2 was the first big one. That one and Fatal Frame was also kind of high on my list back then.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's I really enjoy adventure games. I like point-and-click games, even though they can be very frustrating. There's some new ones that aren't so frustrating, which are really, really good. They're just kind of worked out some of the kinks of that core design. But it always felt like horror games had the opportunity to have a component that was a lot of about adventure and puzzle solving, things like that. And they could be combined with more action-oriented or have other flavors attached to it. So it was just the perfect pace and the good sort of general pace of how a play style has a comfortable, good pace to it, I think.
Yeah. I think a lot of games that left impact on me growing up weren't necessarily directly horror games, but it was this sort of like, I think we saw more of this sort of mix in games in the 90s and early 2000s in like Diablo 1 and System Shock, like Thief. A lot of these games aren't horror games first, but they have a lot of horror elements in just the mood and the tension, and that's honestly always been the thing that's drawn me the most, more so than like the love for full-on horror sort of.
Yeah, it's like how do you make something scary and interesting without going, here's some guts. Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah. That being said, I do love Silent Hill, Resident Evil, and all those guys as well. That's
yeah, well, blowing heads off with shotguns is what he said was like the inspo for this. So and then what would you say is the horror experience that has like affected you the most and maybe informed your work? And that doesn't have to be in a game, it could be in a film, it could be literally in day-to-day life. I got really scared of swimming from an experience where I saw something in the water and then I was like, oh, the sea's scary. So that kind of thing. Like, do you have any spooky stories that have informed your horror love as well?
I have a fun story on that I like to tell, which is when I was 6 years old, I went up, and it was a frequent occurrence. Go up and you want to try to hang out with dad. He's watching TV. It's way too late for you, but this night he was like, yeah, sure, come, stay up if you dare. And he was watching The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing, and that I stuck around for the movie, and that had me with nightmares for months afterwards.
Yeah, well, I can imagine.
For that, the scene with the dog really stayed with me. But then growing up, that also ended up being a very influential thing, and a sort of weirdly enough sort of experience you want to get back to. And today it's my favorite film.
Yeah. No, I think that's something that happens, especially with like people who like horror. It's like, okay, this really upset me. This is horrible. How do I capture that for somebody else? How do I be that like seminal moment? How do I frighten someone else into loving horror as well?
I think my favorite horror movie, I think, is The Exorcist. Because I think it does so many good things about making it believable and grounding. It does so much to make it feel like real, like this with the doctors, the whole process they go through, trying to get this kid to be well again. It feels so real. Her frustration as a mother, all of that stuff. But then also, demons and possessions and all those nice things on top of it. I never lose sight of like keeping it in a real grounded world.
I think it's interesting that you both picked like very practical effects like based films as well, especially with your approach to animation with rotoscoping, being like, how can I make this and then make it scary on top? Like, I think that's a cool little through line that you've got of like everything's kind of handmade almost.
It's the way to do it.
Yeah, we're really into like these heavy grounded effects, and not just in our works, in what we watch as well.
Yeah. Lovely stuff. Right, guys, can you finish us off? Give us a little talk about the demo. Where can we play it? What's going on? Oh, he's like Linus is like, no.
The demo is out on Steam.
Yeah.
If you look for Silver Pines on Steam, you'll find the demo. Then you should be able to play it and have a good time. We're going to be playing the first roughly about an hour of the game. And hopefully it'll make you want to play more.
Yeah, perfect. Right, so and the game is coming. What platforms is it coming to? And do we have like a release date, or are we waiting on that after the demo?
Release date is unclear if we know about this at this date in time, but so we're on all the major platforms. We have on the Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, PC, Switch 1 and 2.
Lovely stuff.
Please check out the game, check out the demo, check out find us on Twitter, find us on Discord if you want more. Yeah.
Excellent. Lovely stuff. Well, thank you so much for chatting, guys. And I cannot emphasize that everybody watching should go and have a little go on Silver Pine's demo. It looks so cool. The art style's amazing. These guys have put loads of amazing work into it. So yeah, check it out. We'll have all of our links in the description as well. But for now, thank you both so much for being here. Thank you for telling us about Silver Pines, and have a lovely rest of your day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Terror, the official podcast of the Horror Game Awards. Check out the links in the description for more info on where to follow our guests in order to support them and keep up to date with their work. Talking Terror, the Horror Game Awards, and all our associated showcases air on YouTube, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel to stay in the know. Don't forget to like, share, and rate this podcast, and we'll see you again next time. Thanks for listening.